You guys know me and holding awards. I'm not strong enough. Yes, please. Oh, yeah, put over me. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry.
Aw, snap. Get your tea and your popcorn because this is going to be another good one. So, I don't know if you guys saw the VMAs recently. I don't watch award shows. I didn't even know that the VMAs still existed. But when it's time to stalk the pretty girl, you're going to look at everything she's doing. You're going to be obsessed with how she holds her awards. You're going to be obsessed with every little obscure award show that she goes to. And I've noticed that there is this magnifying glass on women who have any form of a pedestal. You're going to have more of a spotlight on you. I talk about the concept of pretty women being treated like a celebrity, but if you're a pretty woman who is a celebrity, your scrutiny and the magnifying glass is going to be on you so much more than it would be on somebody who is not placed on a pedestal. So at the award show, Tyla came up to receive her award and she basically said, "Hey, can one of you guys hold this award? Like, I'm sorry." She even said it. I saw the actual clip.
You guys know me and holding awards. I'm not strong enough. Yes, please. Oh, yeah, put over me. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So she tells you why she is unable to hold the award. She specifically said, "I am not strong enough. Please, please, are you able to hold for me?" And they said yes. So have you ever noticed that when you're the pretty girl, even if you explain why you're doing something, people will still take that narrative and run with it? And then people are saying, "Oh, well, she's acting uppity. She's trying to humble other people." And it's like, if you holding an award makes you feel humbled, that's a you problem. And even Halle Bailey came out herself and basically said, "Hey, this is not a big deal. This is there's no beef or anything. I don't think Tyla was trying to be mean or disrespectful." And so there's this tendency to feel humbled in the presence of a person who's on a pedestal, just in general. Everything you do, you're trying to humble somebody. Everything you do is stuck up. And then I saw people bringing up apartheid, saying, "Well, Tyla's used to apartheid." So because she can't hold an award or because she doesn't want to, you are now using apartheid to weaponize that against Tyla. Do you see the internalized inferiority complex? Tyla didn't say anything about apartheid. She said nothing about segregation. She said nothing about colorism, texturism, featureism, or thinking she's better. And I also see people saying that she's a disrespectful foreigner and that she has an Indian accent. So, whoa, isn't that interesting how we've got people in the black community talking crap about her having a quote unquote Indian accent? But if you were to talk crap about people having a black accent, that would be considered racist. And also saying that she's a disrespectful foreigner. Foreigner to who? Because the last time I checked, the entire world and the entire social structure does not just revolve around American social norms. So this is no different than when people try to force Tyla to only claim blackness because in America, you'd be one dropped into blackness. She's not American. And so you can't expect people who are not from the United States to know all of the social cues of the United States. And also, just because someone comes from a country where they have different social norms than you, it doesn't mean that they're an uppity person. So I find the projection to be hilarious. And then people are like, "Oh, well, foreigners, they can just be very disrespectful." Okay, but what about her asking somebody to hold her award? What about that is disrespectful? Because she asked for permission. She didn't say, "Oh my God, can you guys hold this award for me? Because you're the help," basically. So that's what I'm saying. You have an inferiority complex of constantly feeling like the help. That's really what it is. Anybody who got mad at Tyla for that behavior, that person has an inferiority complex because they feel like they're the help. That's why they get upset if somebody says, "Can you hold this?" or "Can you do this for me for a second?" I mean, when I saw that clip, I never in a million years would have thought of that as being shady because I myself have noodle arms. So I can't even lift 20 pounds. I know what that's like to have weak arms. You don't know what Tyla's medical history is. You don't know if she ate food that day. You don't know if she's been starving herself. You don't know if she's anemic. You don't know what her iron levels are. You don't know if she has something going on behind the scenes to where she can't hold an award for that long. Also, even if she is perfectly strong and has strong arms, when celebrities come up to do their acceptance speeches, a lot of celebrities have different speeches that they memorize before they get up there. Like they have different things that they remember, like a little routine they're going to do. I saw that Tyla did her little winking tongue thing. That kind of reminds me of Miley Cyrus, how she used to do that tongue winky pose thing. So she might have a little routine or a little acceptance speech that she wants to give. So if she wants someone to hold her award, I see no problem with it, especially since Little Nas X and Halle said yes to holding the award. Now, it would have been different if they would have said, no, we're not holding the award, and then she demands it or something. Then I can see how people would get upset. But Halle and Little Nas X don't have a problem with it, so why should I? If the people themselves are not mad at her, why should I be mad at her? That's what I'm talking about. Some people will just find a reason to get angry at anything. And especially if they already view you as being better than them or being more privileged than them, then anything that you do to enjoy that privilege or anything that you do to enjoy your own moment is going to be seen as you flexing on them. Because that's another thing. Even if Tyla just wanted someone to hold her award so she could give her speech and use her hands while she's talking, she has a right to do that. This is Tyla's moment. It's Tyla's award, sis. This is her moment to shine. So if you're presenting the award, and like I said, Halle Bailey wasn't even mad or anything. So it's like, if I'm the presenter and she is the star in that moment, why can't we just let her be a star? Why do I have to get mad? Oh, I'm holding the award. Then don't be a presenter. Don't be a presenter at award shows if you don't want to hold the cards, if you don't want to hold the awards. So that's another thing. That's how I know that a lot of people, they've never been to award shows, they've never been around high level performers and stuff like that, because they're not thinking about it from a logistical perspective. They're only thinking about it from the perspective of someone with an inferiority complex. If you don't want to hold awards, do not be a presenter at an award show. That's literally your job. Your job is to read the name of the person who is the star in that category. Your job is to read the name on the card and to hold the award and give them the award. And if they don't want to hold the award, you should have no problem holding it. That is literally why you are being paid to be there at that award show. If you're getting paid to be an award presenter, you holding an award technically can be seen as being a part of your job. So, what it sounds like to me is that people are really just mad that Tyla is a star and that she's enjoying being a star. And this is what I talk about all the time, the psychology of the inferiority complex. People, they get mad when you have any form of privilege while simultaneously seeking privilege for themselves. So it's like, okay, people who are reporting on Tyla, like TMZ or whatever, whoever's writing the articles on her, or they're saying that she's basically kind of being a diva, it's like you're getting mad at her because she is operating in diva privilege while simultaneously trying to have media privilege yourself and trying to have publicity privilege for yourself. So everybody in this world is seeking after some form of privilege. So we can stop with the lies, we can stop with pretending, because it sounds like people are just mad that Tyla is enjoying her privilege of being a star. And then people are like, oh, well, Halle Bailey, she's too good to hold the award. And it's like, okay, so you're basically saying that Tyla thinks she's superior by not holding the award, but Halle Bailey is simultaneously too superior to hold the award. So do you see the incredible double standard right there? These people have absolutely no critical thinking skills whatsoever. So it's okay for Little Nas X and Halle Bailey to be too superior to hold the award, but it's not okay for Tyla to be too superior to hold the award. So do you see that double standard as well? And then I see people saying things like, oh, she acts like she's all that, or she seems like she's arrogant, but then they cannot describe any instances of actual arrogance. Let's look up the definition of the word arrogant. Having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or ability. Okay, so not only is there no proof that Tyla actually is arrogant, even if this is considered proof, if you consider this to be arrogant, okay, now what? Who gonna check her? This is who you made famous. So, do you see what I'm talking about? This is why I do not take a lot of the colorism, texturism, featureism, anti-blackness conversations seriously from the black community, because Unambiguous Black people will continuously make people like Tyla famous. They'll continuously make people like Ice Spice famous. They'll continuously watch shows like Baddies and Love and Hip Hop and Real Housewives or whatever. And then they will later on complain, so and so thinks she's better. So and so treated Cleopatra like she was the dark skinned sidekick. You know, they'll bring up apartheid, they'll bring up segregation and all of these random things as if they suddenly care so much about those things. They didn't care when they were dancing to Water. They didn't care when they were bumping Ice Spice's music. They didn't care when they were laughing at light skinned women getting beat up on Baddies. They didn't care during all of those instances, but suddenly when you realize, oh shit, I just made this person famous. I just made her into a star, and now she's accepting awards, and now she's acting like a diva. Now all of a sudden the selective outrage comes out. And now all of a sudden you're a social justice warrior who cares about arrogance. Because that's another thing. They'll try to morally police you. Oh, so and so is arrogant. And even if she is arrogant, even if Tyla is arrogant, let's pretend that Tyla is an arrogant, entitled, colorist, texturist, featurist person. Okay, now what? She's still famous. She still won the award. And that's who you made famous. So that's another thing. I'm tired of the Black community complaining about the media industry while simultaneously supporting that same media industry that they complain about. I had no idea that the VMAs recently happened because I don't keep up with the VMAs. But guess what? The complainers made it so popular to where now I know that Tyla won a VMA. I am building Tyla's pedestal right now by creating this video. I am now giving Tyla more fame and more notoriety. And that's another thing. Infamy is a fantastic marketing strategy. So let's pretend that Tyla did this all on purpose and that she maliciously did all this. Okay, well, she succeeded because we're talking about it. So that's another thing. You make people more relevant by talking about them. Even if you are talking about their flaws, you're still contributing to their relevance and their fame. And so I don't take people seriously anymore when they complain about a media industry that they continuously support. You're complaining about Hollywood and corrective promotion, yet you still support Hollywood and their incorrect promotion. You're still listening to the music that comes from Hollywood. You're still watching the movies that come from Hollywood. You're still watching Netflix and Hulu and whatever while simultaneously complaining about it. So it's like, no, you just want something to complain about. And then people are like, oh, well, she's a wannabe Rihanna. So this plays into my other talking point. Remember how I said that whenever someone wants to humble an exotical, they can only do it by comparing you to another exotical or a non-Black person. Has anyone else noticed that? They'll be like, oh, well, you're not as good as Rihanna. Or like with Ice Spice, they were like, well, she's not as good as Nicki Minaj. Well, I find it interesting that you randomly chose people like Nicki Minaj. Why didn't you say Doechii or somebody else? You know, why did you say Nicki Minaj? Or like, why are they saying Rihanna? Is it because Tyla is following a similar path to Rihanna? Is it because she's going down the same route that Rihanna went down and you can see Tyla actually becoming like the next Rihanna? And I also find it interesting how instead of people focusing on all of these super important issues that they claim are so important, such as having humility and not being colorist, texturist, and featurist, instead of focusing on those things, no, they'd rather talk about Tyla's arm strength and how she could not hold an award during her acceptance speech. And then I saw somebody, they were like, oh, well, I've seen pictures of other artists and they're holding like 5 or 6 Grammys in their arms. Okay, well, people have different bodies, boo. Some people are strong. Some people have strong arms and some people have weak, skinny noodle arms. And that's okay. Some people want to hold their awards and other people don't. And then I see people saying Tyla goes more viral for her attitude than her music. First of all, that's false, but even if she did go more viral for her attitude, that means that she's really going to have a good career then, because all it takes is her getting a little attitude and then you're going to start talking and she's going to get publicity. And since when do you care about someone's humility? When are you going to realize that life is not fair? So this is what I also talk about. I talk about getting rid of good girl syndrome because I noticed this rhetoric that the Black community uses against exoticals in the media. So they did this with Ice Spice. She doesn't deserve to be blessed with that fame. That's not God that's giving her that fame. That's the devil. She's demonic. And then now with Tyla, suddenly, oh, well, she's an uppity African and she thinks she's better and she needs to humble herself. She's delusional. So I find it interesting how they're giving Tyla all of the light skin stereotypes. Same thing with Ice Spice. And people love to say this thing where it's like, you don't deserve the fame that you have. I've noticed that's another talking point against mixed race women or lighter skinned women. Suddenly, she doesn't deserve the fame that she had. You know, Kelly Rowland should have been more famous than Beyonce because she's prettier and a better singer and whatever. Doechii should have been more famous than Ice Spice because she's a better rapper and she looks better. All these other dark skinned black women should have been more famous than Tyla. She doesn't deserve what she has. So it's like, why is it that anytime somebody is mixed, anytime somebody is pretty, anytime somebody has light skin privilege, suddenly they don't deserve what they have? Why? And who are you to decide who deserves what? And when are you going to realize that life is not fair? So you're telling me that the industry that you have been complaining about for hundreds of years, Hollywood, you expect Hollywood to suddenly be fair. And you expect people in Hollywood to suddenly be humble. Do you see how incredibly idiotic that is? That's got to be one of the dumbest talking points I've ever heard in my life. You don't even like Hollywood. So why do you even care what's going on in Hollywood? You guys say that Hollywood is colorist, texturist, featurist, racist, and anti-black. So why are you supporting Hollywood? Why are you watching YouTube videos and TikToks about what's going on in Hollywood? So this is exactly what I'm talking about. You support colorism, texturism, featurism, racism, and anti-blackness because you continuously support and watch content that comes from that industry. So I don't believe you. Like whenever unambiguous black people say, oh, I don't like, all this colorism stuff or this texturism stuff, I have a hard time believing them because I'm like, okay, if you really didn't like it, you wouldn't support it. Like when I was a devout Christian, I didn't watch anything from Hollywood. I did not watch any secular music music videos or movies. I did not listen to any secular music. I have no idea what was on the top of the charts at that time because I purposely only consumed media that aligned with my values at the time. And so a lot of people who are complaining about Tyla's values, she's arrogant, she needs to be humble. Why do you suddenly care about moral values as if you had any? Because if you truly had values, you wouldn't even know who Tyla is, right? Because you don't support colorist industries, or do you? And then people are like, oh, why couldn't she hold her own award? She's entitled. And it's like, since when is there a rule that says that if you accept an award at an award show, you have to hold it the whole time you're talking? No, just because something is a social norm doesn't mean that everyone follows it. And I don't even know if that's the social norm at award shows because, like I said, I don't even keep up with these awards. So I have no idea if they usually hold their award when they're talking or if they give it to a trophy girl or something, or, I don't know what the norm is. But I find it interesting that if it's Tyla, you want to police everything she does. You're literally obsessing over what Tyla does with her arms and hands. That's how high of a pedestal you put Tyla on. And also, nobody gets to decide how cocky and arrogant I get to be. So, like in Tyla's case, you don't get to decide how arrogant she can be or how entitled she can be. If she wants to be entitled, she actually can. She can be entitled. If she wants to be entitled, she can. You have to learn that you cannot control other people's behavior. You cannot control their personalities. If you don't like her, don't watch her shit. Bye. She's not begging you to watch her. She already got the award, boo. The award's already hers. The song's already out there. She's already famous. So that's what you get for not being socially strategic in who you make famous. You could have been spending all this time talking about Area Star or Thames or somebody else, but no, instead we are sitting here talking about Tyla. And to be completely honest, I really like Tyla. I like her confidence. This is actually making Tyla go up in my book because I like her confidence. I like the fact that she has boundaries. I like the fact that, if her arms are hurting, she's going to ask somebody to hold her stuff. I like that. I think that that's pretty badass. I mean, it sounds like, from what I saw, it seems like Tyla's just a bad bitch. Seems like she's just a very confident woman and knows who she is and doesn't give an F what the black community thinks of her. So how does it feel, black community, to know that this is who you made famous? How does that feel? How do you like them apples? This is who you chose. You picked her over Thames, Arya Starr, or, the other women that could have been in her place right now. You chose Ice Spice. You chose to listen to Nicki Minaj. You chose to listen to Beyonce over Kelly Rowland. You chose to ignore Normani, by the way, who just created an album back in June. You guys chose to ignore Normani, but instead you want to focus on how much strength Tyla's arms have at the VMAs. Meanwhile, when Normani's album first came out, it didn't even chart. Because you guys don't actually give an F about unambiguous monoracial dark-skinned black women. You would rather criticize and scrutinize light-skinned women or mixed race women or colored South Africans and try to force them to identify with unambiguous blackness as you guys did with Tyla. So on the one hand, it's Tyla's not black, and then on the next hand, it's, she's a brown-skinned, unambiguous black woman. Like, I literally saw people on Lipstick Alley trying to say, Tyla is a brown-skinned, unambiguous black woman. Okay, so then if you want us to be your representation, don't get mad when we are your representation. Don't get mad when you're standing on the sidelines of an award show or when your music doesn't chart and we are asking people to hold our awards. Just don't get mad at that. This is what happens when you support an industry that doesn't support you. Not my fault. That's not Tyla's fault. And then I've noticed some people are like, oh, well, Tyla, someone's got to tell her how to behave. She needs a PR person or she doesn't know how to read the room. Have you ever noticed this obsession with how Exoticals behave socially? Well, you're not being feminine enough. You're not being classy enough. Ha ha, that's why you're still a baby mama. So it's like you're obsessed with how we behave socially and then complain about having no social status for yourself. Well, yeah, that's because if you spend half as much energy in social climbing for yourself, then you would probably be on the same level as what you think Tyla is. And so I've noticed, once again, that points back to their external locus of control. They'd rather focus on Tyla's flaws than focus on their own flaws. They'd rather focus on how Tyla should behave socially than how they should behave socially. And then people are like, well, Lil Nas X and Halle Bailey, they're way more famous than Tyla is. When did Tyla say she was more famous than them? Do you see the incredible projection? All she did was say, hey, my arms are too weak. She explained exactly why she was asking them to hold the award in the clip. She said, you guys know how I am with awards. My arms are too weak. And honestly, that's relatable to me because I can't hold shit. I can't even hold 3 bags of groceries. So yeah, sometimes when people are petite or they're small or they haven't worked out or they didn't eat all day, I know that if I don't eat for a long time, I'm going to become shaky. So it's like, yeah, if people can't hold their award, who cares? That's really my question for the people who care about this. Why do you care? Why are you so obsessed with what awards Tyla can hold and what they can't? Why are you ignoring Kelly Rowland? Why are you ignoring Normani's music? And then I saw this clip. I don't know if this is real, but it looks like Tyla might even be reading Lipstick Alley and stuff like that because if you go on her Twitter, she even titled her bio entitled Uppity African. The album is out now. So sounds like Tyla, I might have to do a whole series on Tyla because now that I'm seeing this, it seems like Tyla is actually very good at alchemy. Tyla is very good at transmutation. She knows how to transmute negative things about herself, and she will add that to her bio, very similar to what we did as Exoticals, where people were calling us exotical and preferences as like a slur to try to humble us or whatever, and then we just took it on like, oh, okay, well, I'm an exotical, bitch. Now what? You ain't taking nothing from me. And so I think that's really what people don't like. They don't like when you have a combination of privilege and confidence. You're not allowed to be pretty privileged and have talent privilege like Tyla and have social privilege like Tyla and have confidence? Oh, absolutely not. That's way too many good qualities that you have going for yourself. Absolutely not. You're not allowed to have that. And honestly, why do some people think that you can bully someone and not get a response? Has anyone noticed that people love to bully mixed race women? You love to bully the women who are the privileged one, and then you get pissed when we respond. This channel is a response to the bullying that I personally faced in the Black empowerment space, as well as other women like me. So you can't bully somebody on the internet, celebrity or not, and then get mad if they respond. You can't bully someone and talk shit about them and then get mad if they siphon off your energy and use it to create more fame and money for themselves. Cause and effect, baby. I don't believe in karma, but I do believe in cause and effect. So, yeah, when you talk shit about someone, different people have different responses. So, if Tyla's response to online bullying is that she becomes more confident, I would say, first of all, kudos to Tyla. And also, who gon' check her? She asked somebody to hold her award. Who gon' check her? Nobody. And then people are like, oh, nobody's allowed to call out Tyla's behavior. Nobody's allowed to call it out. Well, you can call it out, just don't expect it to change. That's another social climbing mistake, thinking that by calling out someone's negative behavior, you think it's going to change. No. I hold unambiguous Black women accountable on this channel. I will forever call out problematic behavior, but I don't expect it to change. So I just choose to make money off of it instead. So you're not going to change your behavior. That's totally fine. If you want to keep calling us names or you want to keep talking crap about Exoticals, sounds like Tyla's doing the same thing. You want to call me an entitled uppity African or you want to call me all these different names, that's fine. Just know that I'm going to get paid off of it. Transmutation. And then people are saying, oh, this shows that she's oversensitive. I find that hilarious. Oh, of course the light-skinned girl is sensitive. You know, she's oversensitive. And it's like, if you think that's sensitive, that's fine. Tyla doesn't care, obviously. She doesn't care that you think she's uppity. She doesn't care that you think she's being a diva. She doesn't care that you think she's being a princess. She doesn't mind wearing all of those hats. She doesn't mind being called that. She enjoys the extra fame you're giving her. She's enjoying the extra attention you're giving her. And kudos to her for doing that because it's going to help her career to go even further. People used to say the same thing about Beyonce. They would say that she was entitled. They would say that she was snobbish, that she was a fake friend, that she was a hater on the other members of Destiny's Child, and that she would try to like take the spotlight for herself. But Beyonce alchemized the haters and she made that a part of her brand. Like, yeah, I'm a diva. That is a part of my brand. Now what? And so what a lot of people with inferiority complexes don't realize is that delusion and being uppity and stuck up and a princess or whatever, that actually makes you better at manifesting. If you believe in manifestation, if you believe in having faith, if you're a Christian or something like that, if you believe in having audacity, that actually helps you to become more successful. Fortune favors the bold. And clearly, it favors Tyla. Look at the difference between the people talking shit about Tyla and Tyla herself. I'm just saying. And also, Tyla is very good at provoking people. That's a method that I love to use here on YouTube as well. I love provoking people who are already hating on me, or if they have a history of hating on people of my group. I like to provoke it even more because that is how you utilize infamy to become more successful and popular. The Kardashians did this. You know, lots of people do this. Simon Cowell, Donald Trump, a lot of infamous people like to utilize this method because it's a way to create a stronger brand for yourself. It's a way to stand out even more because people are shocked. You get to use the shock value to gain publicity for yourself. And then people are like, oh, Tyla, you're arrogant. Like, you're going to end up like Ice Spice. That's actually a compliment, sis. Ice Spice is poppin' because everybody's talking about her. See, this is what I'm talking about as well. A lot of people with inferiority complexes, they think that success is a monolith. Success doesn't have to mean winning a bunch of Grammys and being Beyonce. No, no, no. Success has different meanings for different people. So if Ice Spice and Tyla's goal is to just be talked about, they're still achieving their goal. You don't know what Ice Spice's definition of success is. You don't know what Tyla's definition of success is. It sounds like for both of those women, their definition of success is to simply get publicity in general. So you think you can destroy someone's success by talking shit about them? That's not going to work. Cancel culture does not work, especially if the person has already reached a level of fame like Tyla. You're not going to be able to say, well, she's arrogant and delusional, and then, oh, okay, I'm just going to go crawl into a hole now, and I'm just going to quit the music industry now because random people on the internet said I'm delusional. It's not going to work. So that's another bad social climbing strategy from people who have an inferiority complex. Oh, maybe if I call out the fact that she's being arrogant, then suddenly it's going to help me to social climb and feel better. No, it's not. That is a temporary emotional coping mechanism that people use when they feel like you have outshined them, basically. That's basically what this whole thing is. Tyla is just outshining the people on the side because she asked them to hold her award. No, that shows what you think about Tyla. That's actually proof that Tyla is a star. Anytime somebody says you outshine them, they're actually telling you that you're a star. You're a star. Your presence dims my light. You know, your light is shining so bright, it's shining brighter than mine. That's what that word means, outshine. It means that somebody else's light is shining brighter than yours. And then people are like, this reminded me of when Taylor Swift ignored Celine Dion when she got her award. Definitely cringe. Okay, but Taylor Swift is a star as well. So are you starting to see a pattern here, Pretty Girl Club? Do you see the pattern? Anytime other people are obsessing over the small things that you do, anytime other people are saying, oh, you're acting entitled and spoiled and arrogant, and they're like nitpicking the small things about you, that's actually a sign that you're a star. Because that person has nothing else going on in their lives. And so they have to obsess over how much arm strength you have and how you couldn't hold your award while you were giving your acceptance speech. They don't have any awards that they've ever gotten in their life. So, of course, they have to obsess over yours. And then people are like, oh, well, Tyla, she's just not likable. Okay, well, once again, who says you have to be likable in order to be successful? That's another social climbing mistake, thinking that success comes solely from likability. You don't have to be the most likable person to be successful. You just have to be likable with the right people. That's really what it is, especially in the industry. Remember how Baby Storm was like, oh, Ice Spice came in and she stole my entire friend group and then they helped her to create an album and now she's famous? Okay, so that's proof that you don't have to be likable to everyone. You just have to be likable to those that can actually help you. So Ice Spice was smart enough to know that, and it sounds like Tyla is smart enough to know that as well. And by the way, I believe that Armand Wiggins was the one that said she was an uppity African. I'm not sure if he was the first one to say that or if like she put that on her bio because of him. I don't know if it was because of him or if it was because of something else. But I also find it interesting how the main ones who use this terminology uppity or the terminology like delusional and stuck up tends to be people from the unambiguous dark skinned black community, and then they will have no proof that that person is being uppity. Like, what exactly did they say to where you're like, okay, they're uppity? And also, if we're going to start talking about people's personality traits, you don't know that person. They're a stranger, right? They're just a public figure on a pedestal. So basically, you're just saying that because they're a public figure on a pedestal. Like, why are you saying that? You know, like you don't know what somebody else is truly thinking in their minds. You don't know if somebody thinks they're better than you. Also, let's look up the definition of the word uppity. An uppity person behaves in an unpleasant way because they think they're more important than what they really are. Okay, so who gets to decide how important Tyla is? Her haters? The internet? Who? Because last time I checked, you're the only person who gets to decide your level of importance. Tyla doesn't have the same external locus of control that her haters do. So that's another thing. Like, anytime you're calling somebody else uppity, what you're really saying is, excuse me, your locus of control is too internalized. You think you're more important than what you really are. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You don't get to tell me how important I am. I get to decide how important I think I am. So if I think I am important, and if I think I'm a star, and I think I'm a princess, and I don't want to hold my award while I'm giving my speech, then I don't have to, because that's the life I choose to manifest for myself. That is the pedestal that I choose to manifest for myself. If you don't like it, get out of the award show. Don't be a presenter. Don't watch the show. Don't listen to my music. Don't follow me on Instagram then. Oh, what? But you can't resist me? And then I also see other people, they started going in on her followers saying, like, oh, her Instagram followers are fake, her likes are fake. Like, basically, she's an industry plant and stuff like that. Okay, but what does that say about you for being dumb enough to support an industry that is filled with plants? So, do you see how you're actually dissing yourself? You've got so much to say about everybody else's flaws around you, yet can't take accountability for your own stupidity. If she's an industry plant, then that would make you stupid for supporting an industry full of plants. The more that people talk about you, the more relevant you become. Attention is currency. People talking about you, that's a form of currency. Anyway, what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.